Okay. Well, Jaren, um, I, I'm into having new friends, and
Yes.
that's what I would like for you to see me as a friend, rather than some guru way up there, because
Yeah.
heroes and such have clay feet. And if you think of me as something different than what I actually am, then you will someday hate me. But if you accept me just the way I am, we'll be okay. Okay, we're
Gotcha.
just friends. Okay. Now, basically, let's start at the very beginning. And the
Okay.
very beginning of the teachings of the Buddha says that he only teaches one thing. Both formally and now, he teaches just one thing, and that is dukkha, dukkha nirodha. Okay? The Buddha, in fact, makes sure that you understand that the Four Noble Truths is the actual teaching, the dukkha nirodha.
Right.
The dukkha, how we got it, what it's like to be free from it, and here's the method that we use to come out of it. Okay? And there's a lot of mistakes in there, which a lot of people make when they assume that he teaches other things, like meditation, concentration, um, rebirth, reincarnation, other worlds, all this
Right.
kind of stuff that people believe in. That's not what the Buddha teaches. He teaches only one thing, and that
There's
is
suffering or suffering. There's a way
and
out, and this is
and
how.
there is
Gotcha.
right. And so the first thing that we have to understand is that dukkha is not life itself. And a lot of people think
Right.
that. In fact, I've seen it in writing. But in fact, life itself is not dukkha,
Yeah.
that dukkha is optional. That in
Right.
fact, dukkha is more involved with stupidity and ignorance than it is with actual being alive.
Correct. But for some reason, it's so hard to let go of that stupidity. Like for some reason, like it's, like I'm sure like it's as easy as dropping, this pen. I could just drop it whenever I
Right.
want. But for some reason, I don't want to let go of the pen.
Okay, well, now here's something interesting. When you let go of the pen, why doesn't it just float where it was when you let it go? Why doesn't it float up or down? Why doesn't it take off in the northeasterly direction at 100 miles an hour?
Well,
What
I mean,
happens instead? It falls
right.
until it lands on something, right? This is
Mm,
due to a property we've called gravity,
correct.
okay? Well, guess what? There is also a kind of a mental gravity that you can
Mm,
have a high uplifting thought, but when you let it go, where's it going to go to? It's going to crash land.
right back down. Right.
Hmm. That's exactly what happens with the practice. Is that the natural
Yes.
default position is to fall and to land, to crash land, which you could say
Yeah.
is the default
That's what I
position
meant
is
when
dukkha.
right. That's kind of what I've meant when like I, did the fixed point staring or whatever. It was like, sure, you can reach this point, but it goes away so quickly or
Hmm.
whatever, and there's nothing crazy about it. There's no magic to it. It is what it is. Um, but you're right. It drops just like a pin as soon as you're done.
Yes, that's the whole point, and that's also the same thing with, let us call it, morality. That we can hold morality, but as soon as we drop it, where does it go? It crash lands into
Right.
immorality.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And so we've got this bottom kind of level that we start out in, and we can call that level ignorance itself, or
Mm,
stupidity. That ultimately we don't know, we fall. All right. And so greed and ill will can then be seen in the fact that we don't like to fall, we don't like to crash land, and that we want something else. And yet, whenever
right.
ignorance
Which
comes
is
by, we don't know what is, and so we wind up crash landing again over and over and over and over again.
Which is the cycle of dukkha, I would assume, because like we always tell ourselves, as soon as I do this, I'll be happy. As soon as I do that, I'll be happy. And guess what never happens?
Or they get what they want and they're happy for a little while.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You get it.
Here's an
it's
example
temporary, and then it's gone.
That Olympic champions, when they get that championship, when they walk up and they play the music and they stand on that little 3-tiered stage and you get the gold medal, you're on top of the world. Guess what? Those gold medals are often sold.
Right.
Why is that?
Gotcha.
Because the guy who buys it wants the feeling from the gold that he was the champion, when in fact he's not the champion. He just owns the gold that represents it. He's got the icon, not the real deal.
Which is why I wanted to call you instead of digging myself into a hole trying to follow somebody else's meditation. Like if it doesn't apply directly to me, how can I take full advantage of it? I guess is how I would put it.
So the second noble truth is that there is a reason for this dukkha.
Yes.
That it does not exist actually on its own, and that the actual reason that there is, let us define what dukkha is. If we have a good working understanding of it,